A lot of governments are talking about performance, and they should be, but many of them make it more complicated than it needs to be. In this video, we'll show you some of the words people use to talk about performance and boil it down to what it's really all about. Take this one sentence about the imaginary city of Springfield. They want to enhance public safety by increasing the amount of protected bike lane miles. It seems pretty straightforward, but performance managers can take a sentence like this and complicate it pretty quickly. Take a look. The first part, enhance public safety, is often referred to as the strategic objective, the priority, the outcome, or the goal. All words used pretty interchangeably. The second part, all Springfield residents, are usually called the customers, the residents, the community, citizens, or stakeholders. The third section, about the Springfield Department of Transportation, or SDOT, tells you who the owner is, or the responsible department. I've even seen some people call it the accountable executive. The fourth section, increase protected bike lane miles, that's the action. That's the activity. Or it's the initiative. Or, you guessed it, it's the goal. The fifth section, which is a subset of the fourth, protected bike lane miles, is often thought of as the measure, the metric, the indicator, or the key performance indicator, or KPI. Finally, the last part, by 5% in 2016, think of that as the target, the result, the outcome, or here it is again, the goal. To make matters even more complicated, the whole thing is sometimes referred to as the key performance indicator, or KPI. Or it's just called the goal, or it's called a strategic goal because it has context with it, and in a lot of places this whole thing is called the performance measure. Now, words matter, and everywhere you go people have slightly different ways of describing this stuff. None of these word choices are wrong, and there's nothing bad happening here. And if you work somewhere where everyone agrees on the language and the construct through which performance is viewed, then congratulations, that's an awesome step in the right direction. But if you work somewhere else, where the louder voices in the room are still arguing over goals versus indicators, or there's more time spent disagreeing about whether something is an indicator or a key indicator, or people can't decide whether to call the increase a target or a goal, or people are just confused by the whole darn thing, then take a step back. Because in that situation, folks are spending far too much time on semantics and not enough time on substance. And there's an easier way. Take the same sentence and just use more precise language that gets to the heart of what we're all chasing, a better performing government and a better life. Decide what you're trying to achieve. In this case, we want a safer public. Decide who you're doing it for. Sometimes residents aren't the only beneficiaries. Sometimes employees are. Make it clear who's responsible for making progress, and make it clear what their contribution will be. In this case, more miles of protected bike lanes. Always be clear exactly how you're measuring progress. We won't be happy until there's a 5% increase. And make it clear when you commit to delivering these results. Words are important because they enable us to communicate ideas. GovX encourages cities to quickly establish a performance vocabulary you're comfortable with, and then move on. Because when talking about performance, you should usually be talking about how it is improving government services and the lives of people. In other words, focus on the substance, not the semantics.